and then screen share. Alrighty, can you all see my screen there?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, my name is Stacy Turner. I was introduced to this whole idea of fruits and vegetables in a capsule and in a gummy a little over 13 years ago. And it really hit home with me because I was desperately trying to get my then 14-month-old to eat fruits and vegetables. And, it was just really a difficult thing to do with him because there were so many unhealthy foods that were being given to him. And I was surprised at how much, people just offered the bad foods to such a small child. And I was doing the best that I could, but I really wasn't doing as good as I needed to. And I was struggling to get those fruits and veggies into him. Not so much the fruit, but the vegetables. He's now 14 years old, so he was 14 months old at the time. And I'm happy to say I have been able to find a simple way to flood his body with over 30 fruits and vegetables every day since then. And it's just been a huge life saver for the kids, and then also a big changer for my husband and I. And I'll go share my story as we go throughout this presentation tonight. But I would love just for us to be thinking about, the different things within our lives of what it means to be healthy, or what does good health mean to you. And, for a lot of us, we know we're supposed to be eating healthy. We know that, and yet it's difficult to do because of busy schedules. And I asked a lot of you, what it was that was your biggest struggle to eating healthy. And you told me it was getting your kids to make healthy choices. And that's so true. We as adults know it's important. And so sometimes we will do better and eat more. But what do you do with these picky kids that just won't eat healthy foods? And that's what we want to focus on. Maybe good health means to you being fit, maybe not a certain size, but knowing that you're moving your body, your muscles are stronger, and feeling like you're fit. And disease prevention, that was something I had never really talked about or learned about. I didn't really know what that meant to be, preventing disease. I thought that you got cancer, you didn't, you got heart disease, or you didn't, but it was really more genetic than anything else. And so as I started to learn that the food that I was eating then could prevent disease 10, 20 years down the road, that was really encouraging to me, because for the first time I realized I could be proactive instead of just reactive to disease. And that's really a message I want to help get across, not just for us, but for the kids too, that what we're feeding them today is affecting their future health. And we have a good amount of control of that as moms, because we're the ones that buy the food. And so I'm just, thankful that I heard this information and was able to make the changes early enough that I could impact their health. And it's harder and harder as they're older, because they're not at home as much. They're making food choices for themselves. And it's kind of like that Bible verse, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Well, I hope they come back to it, and that they will continue to eat healthy, and that they will remember the words and, that I taught them, and the example that my husband and I have shown for them. So we're going to just click through these slides here. Let's talk about the state of America's health. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have cancer. 1 in 3 will have diabetes. 1 in 3 is obese. 70% of Americans are on 2 or more prescription medications, and 25% of them are children. 80% of U.S. teens are eating diets that put them on a clear path to heart disease. Those are some pretty strong statistics there, So, what we're eating and what we are feeding our kids really is making a difference. I can hear some background noise, so if you can mute yourself, that would be great. There's a little microphone. And also if you can not draw on the screen, because it draws on for everybody. So if you could erase that, that would be great. So here's our striking reality, that 90% of the food eaten in America is processed. 90% of it. That means only 10% is real food. We live in a time where our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. Look at that top picture there. That's a typical diet for a kid at school. That's what they're eating. at school. That's what we're feeding them, or even starting their day off. And I love that picture at the bottom, day 1 and day 180 of an unhappy meal is what I think of it. We often give this to our kids as a treat for getting a good grade or being, good behavior, and it's really not a treat at all. That hamburger doesn't look any different on day 180 than it does on day 1. Why is that? Because of all the preservatives and the chemicals that are put into it. It really just turns plastic. I have one in my cabinet that looks just like that. It turns hard. Even bacteria cannot eat it. A simple bacteria is not able to break that down. And that's really important for us to realize, because that's not a treat for our kids. That's really harming them. And we want to make sure that we're putting good foods into their body as much as we possibly can. So there's a great program called Nutrition Detectives, and this is by Dr. David Katz, and he partnered with our Juice Plus company. I can still hear somebody speaking. If you can mute yourself out, I'm not sure why it's not muted, because I did mute all. There's a little microphone at the bottom of your screen.
Comma. Wouldn't it be comma space?
Mallory, I think I can hear you. Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, so nutritiondetectives.com was created by Dr. David Katz, and he says don't trust the front cover of a package. You really want to make sure that what you're buying is actually a healthy food, and often they are marketed as a healthy food, but they are not. So the first ingredient is always the biggest on that ingredient label. If you can't trust the front, then what do you look at? You want to look at that ingredient label, and the first ingredient is always the biggest. You want to identify the harmful ingredients, like hydrogenated oil and that type of thing. And there's lots of good ingredients and there's a lot of harmful ingredients. I'm going to try to stop sharing this again and see if I can really mute everybody out. Hold on one. Okay, I think I was able to get everyone there. Sorry for that distraction. Okay, so identifying those harmful ingredients is really important, like I mentioned. And then you want to find a product that has a short ingredient list. If there's so many ingredients that you cannot even pronounce them and it's very long, that means it's mostly processed synthetic ingredients. So a short ingredients that you can actually pronounce and identify, obviously those are going to be healthier choices. So another option is to look for 2 grams of fiber or more. So if it has fiber, that's going to mean it helps to your blood sugar to go down slower afterwards, and you're not going to get that sugar high and that sugar crash. The grams of fiber will really help from that, and that's going to mean it has some sort of plant source of nutrition in it as well. So let's see here. These 2 doctors, both of them are very well known. You've probably heard of Dr. David Katz. Like I said, he was the one that created that program right before called Nutrition Detectives. And he says that this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. That's a pretty severe statement. And I have to say that I'm starting to see that even with my parents' generation. People in their late 40s, early 50s are dying of diseases I thought of people dying from much later in life. And their parents are still alive. I'm really starting to see this. They have kids in their early 20s and they're not even getting to see their grandkids grow up. And so this isn't information just for our children. This impacts us as parents. I want to be around for my grandkids. I want to know them. I want to be a part of their life and be active in their lives, not just a picture that they talk about. Do you remember? Or, this was Stacy. I want them to know me. I want to be a part of their lives. And so Dr. Sears, he's known as America's pediatrician, he says that 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. 75%, that's such a huge number. I want that number on my side. I want that number on my kid's side. That's the good news of all of this. All of those ugly statistics I just showed and shared with you, Disease is preventable, and that starts with good nutrition. The road to good health really does start with nutrition, because real food doesn't need a label. We know what that is. We can recognize that. Real food will rot if you leave it on the shelf or on the cabinet. It will go bad. That means even bacteria is able to break it down. Our bodies know what to do with it as well. 150 doctors researched 4,500 studies on what keeps us healthy. And you know what the common denominator was? Fruits and vegetables. Like, we know that. We know we're supposed to eat fruits and vegetables. We know we're supposed to get them into the kids' diet, but it can be difficult to do. Oxidative stress is linked to poor health, and we're going to talk about what this oxidative stress is, and we've heard of that before. Maybe you've heard of it as free radicals. Dr. Bruce Ames says that in each human cell, the DNA is hit about 10,000 times a day by mutagenic oxidants. He said it's like not eating enough fruits and vegetables every day is like standing in front of an x-ray machine each day. Like, we would never do that. We know that is not a wise thing to do. We would not put our kids in front of an x-ray machine every day, but not eating enough fruits and vegetables is the same harm that happens to us when we are not eating enough of those fruits and vegetables. So it really is super important to get those in. So how are we going to do that? Our defense is the antioxidants that are found in fruits and vegetables. We need those for healthy cell performance. Most people know that their diet's lacking in nutrition, so they tend to rely on a vitamin to fill that gap. I know that we did too. But you can take a whole handful of vitamins hoping that you can somehow piece together what your body needs. When you've got this synergistic effect that's in an apple. Look at that list of ingredients on an apple. That's one page of 25 that it would take to list everything that's in an apple, compared to that multivitamin that has a very short list of nutrients that are all chemically and synthetically made. Our bodies know what to do with food. It doesn't have to guess, what do I do with this? Is this a chemical? Do I keep it? Do I store it? Do I use it? What do I do? It knows exactly what to do. And it's those nutrients that go to work to fight heart disease, to fight cancer, to fight obesity, to fight all these diseases that we don't want to have anything to do. So how are we supposed to do that? We are supposed to eat more fruits and vegetables. People find it difficult. The USDA recommends that we fill half of our plate with fruits and vegetables at every meal. And if you take that plate and look at it, fruit, vegetables, and grains, 3/4 of that plate is coming from a plant source. That is doable, but that's at every single meal. Sometimes we think fruit is for breakfast, vegetables for dinner, and yet this is supposed to be each meal. This is a great visual that you can use with your kids. You can even find plates like this at Walmart that are broken into these little division, and you portion out their food that way. We know that, and we're told to eat more fruits and vegetables. There's all kinds of government agencies out there, and yet the average American consumes less than 2 servings a day. And maybe you can relate to this, Mom. It is difficult to find things that every kid will eat in your family. And sometimes it does feel like you should have a chart with who likes what and who gags on what, because everyone's tastes are different and they're being shaped by what we have fed them from the years in the past. So how do we bridge that gap? And I want to share with you some easy ways that different families have found to do that. It's called Juice Plus. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, in a gummy, and then also the Complete, which is an all plant-based smoothie mix that you can hide all kinds of good things in there. Let me read to you what is in this blend, these tons of fruits and vegetables, but I'm going to read them off to you. Acerola cherry, alfalfa sprouts, amaranth, apple, artichoke leaf, beets, bilberries, blackberries, black currant, blueberries, broccoli sprouts, cabbage, carrots, chickpeas, cocoa, Concord grapes, cranberries, dates, elderberries, ginger root, garlic, grapes, green tea, kale, millet, oats, orange, papaya, parsley, peas, peaches, pineapple, pomegranate, prune, pumpkin, quinoa, radish sprouts, raspberries, rice, soy, spinach, spirulina, tomato, and yucca. I just have to ask you guys, who has eaten their yucca today? Is that ever something that we eat every single day? Or how about black currants? I've never even seen where to buy those. I like beets in a salad, but I don't ever eat them raw. This is an easy way like I've said, to flood our bodies with these fruits and vegetables. And it's in a way that kids like and they ask for. So here's Juice Plus capsules and gummies. This is 30 whole foods. It has a food label, not a vitamin supplement label. It's those phytonutrients we talked about, those antioxidants. It's non-GMO ingredients, dairy-free, gluten-free, NSF certified, which means a third party validates that what's in these capsules and gummies is actually on the label and vice versa. And then it's clinically researched. That means when people take Juice Plus, they've been able to find healthful benefits, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. And the complete smoothie mix is naturally low fat, low sugar, low glycemic index shake mix. It's plant-based protein with chickpeas, pea, rice, tofu, and soy, a good fiber blend, and ancient grains like quinoa, millet, radish, broccoli, sprouts, alfalfa sprouts. Like, how else am I going to get that into the kids' diet? But they love their chocolate shakes or strawberry banana using the Vanilla Complete. It's not something I have to coerce them into doing. They drink it and ask for it. So I love that as well. It's just, again, a simple tool in our tool belt. Let's talk about this research. And because of this research, it's supported by leading health professionals all around the world. And we know that Juice Plus actually gets into your bloodstream, that your body's able to use those nutrients and help to balance out your immune system, protect your arteries, and it does all those things with our kids as well. This study really excites me. This is the Children's Health Study, and this was 200,000 or more participants that confirmed that Juice Plus was the springboard to better health. Look at these statistics. 56% of the kids were taking fewer over-the-counter or prescription drugs. So this was after 1 year. These are reports from the children and the parents. 60% were missing fewer days of school, 61% were eating more fruits and vegetables, 66% were visiting the doctor less, they're drinking more water, consuming less fast food. Like, when I'm looking at this, visiting the doctor less, missing less days of school, and taking less medicine, that's money back in my pocket as a mom, that I'm not paying co-pays for sick days, I'm not buying over-the-counter cold medications, I'm not having to miss work if my kids are sick. That's all money back in my pocket as a parent. It's such a great investment. Dr. Richard Du Bois says, after looking at all of the research done on Juice Plus, he recognizes there is nothing else in the whole world, with or without a prescription, that has been shown to do all of those things in the human body. That's a huge statement. He said nothing else ever that he has ever seen has been shown to do those things. So encouraging. And I love that Juice Plus is affordable. It's affordable for families. It costs about the same as a cup of gourmet coffee if you're looking at those prices over there. And kids get their Juice Plus for free as part of that health study I was just talking about. So when an adult orders, they get their gummies or their capsules for free, age 4 through 18 and full-time college students. One of the things we love to do with Juice Plus is to encourage people to make one simple change as they continue with their health journey. And these are just some ideas that we have found to be helpful: to eat green vegetable twice a day. Maybe it's drink a nutrition smoothie every single day, and you just kind of pick one of these and then keep going down the list. Stretch for 10 minutes a day, sleep for 8 hours each night. And I want to call attention to this picture here on the right. This is a great idea by Dr. Sears. He helps kids be grazers, is what he calls, and we did this all the time when they were little, is we would have a muffin tin and just put healthy options in that muffin tin and set it out. And by the end of, the snack time or lunch, all of those cups would be empty. I don't know who out of which 3 of mine ate what, but they had all had healthy choices in there and they all got eaten. So it was such an easy way to not have to mess with little plates, and cleanup was simple. I loved this, and the kids really looked forward to it. We still do it sometimes if we have younger kids at the house, and they love it as well. This is a great community and a chance to connect with like-minded people. You don't have to make these changes on your own. And we've got a great support system. These are just some pictures I found in our Facebook group of other people that had put their kids up, showing how they're making these changes and asking for this nutrition as well. I love the mustache over there with the kids drinking their smoothies, and to know we're starting their future out in a way putting this solid nutrition is just so important to me. And this is what we do. This is inspiring healthy living around the world. And so I thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're just about out of time. This is going to kind of kick us off, but I'm going to get back on. If somebody's got some questions, we can hop back on, and I'm going to end the recording.